Welcome back to WWL Louisiana News at 5 o'clock. 20 years as we commemorate Hurricane Katrina, the storm that changed us. Joining me now is Chief Investigator David Hammer, who, if you have not seen this, which honestly everybody should have seen this by now, David, 19 years you've been covering the Road Home program since the year it happened after Hurricane Katrina, when it started, till the very end. So let's go to the beginning of this. When you started covering the Road Home program, this program was responsible for getting a lot of homeowners back into their homes in New Orleans.
Yeah, this was the largest housing recovery program in U.S. history, $10 billion. It helped 130,000 homeowners get back into their homes, also helped with rental properties. And the average grant of it was up to $150,000 per home. The average grant was $88,000. So it was responsible for getting a lot of people back into their homes. But there were problems where there were disparate impacts for people.
Yeah, we talk about the Road Home payment disparities. There are some communities that were able to rebuild easily, while there are other communities like the Lower Ninth Ward, some places in Gentilly, and also in the New Orleans East area, where they had severity trying to get back. They took, 10 years, some more than 10 years, trying to rebuild their homes.
Absolutely. I talked to several homeowners in the Gentilly area where we are now who took more than 10 years to get back in their homes. And a lot of that was because of a fatal flaw in the program. The formula was based on pre-storm values of people's homes, not based on the actual cost of rebuilding. And in places where the homes were worth more, they got enough to rebuild. In places where the homes were worth less, often they got less. And because of that decision, and I investigated why that happened, it turned out that there was a Republican-controlled Congress that was reticent to give money to the state of Louisiana, which was democratically controlled at the time, concerned about fraud and waste and abuse, and they only agreed to give the money if the state capped the grants at the pre-storm value, and that led to a lot of these disparities.
Well, we're 2 decades later, obviously. Where does that Road Home program stand right now?
Well, it was ended in 2022. I, along with ProPublica and the Times-Picayune, did an investigation that found that there were these disparities. It found that there were lawsuits filed against homeowners that were unfair. They stopped the lawsuits and they stopped the program. They closed it out with HUD, and they were able to finish the program, and it was over.
I know they have a lot of people who obviously had issues with trying to rebuild their homes. Some people, unfortunately, 20 years later, still having problems trying to rebuild their home. But we have to say that 130,000 people getting back to the city after the devastation of Hurricane Katrina is still a good feat to have.
And these recovery programs now have been fixed so that some of these problems don't happen again.
All right, David, thank you so much.